Technicalities are working fine. Welcome for everybody who signed up to today's info session. I'm Astrid, and most of you might know me already from the Thearc, and today is this very exciting day when we are sharing about our new program, the Thearc Purpose Catalyst, our leadership accelerator. So if you have any questions about that, you're so in the right place. Now, without much further ado, let's get started right away. So here we go. And yeah, let's quickly mute all the things that are coming in. Yeah, what are we planned for? What's on the program for today? First of all, for those who haven't met the Thearc, so I'm Astrid, founder of the program. We've been running since 2012. And yeah, I'm obviously a coach and many other things. I have been a management consultant for 10 years and worked so much as a volunteer for European Commission and International Youth Work, as well as for the United Nations. So if you Google me, you'll find exciting things about being a UN youth delegate. This is a picture from my TEDx talk. So yeah, I have always been on a mission to support people to really build lives that they find inspiring. And this is exactly what the Thearc is doing. So if you know the Thearc, you can skip this part or grab a cup of coffee. Yeah, who or what is the Thearc? We're an international network of purpose-driven individuals who really want to build something in their lives that inspires themselves and others. So the way we're doing this, we're organizing boot camps as well as coachings, and we're running a really, really thrilling community, events, dinners. Our goal is really to build a very, very authentic group of people that will support you on that mission of, and it's written here, doing a job, from moving to do a job to actually building impact. Now, what could that mean? So let's first of all, yeah, get a grip on who we're actually doing this for, and if you're right here still after having heard this. Now, this program, the Purpose Catalyst, is so made for you if you're really wanting to learn how to coach, but at the same time, ready to really embark on a very personal journey of transformation, of really doing that thing of turning your job into something that's actually inspiring, no matter what that means for you. But also, if you already look back to a significant track record of leadership. So maybe you have been running teams already. Maybe you founded your own company already. Maybe you've just run big volunteering project. That's also fine. But it is necessary that you're good at what you do, and that you do it with a lot of passion, right? It doesn't have to be your job that you're massively passionate about, but something where you know there is a fire that burns within me, and that really I want to make more of a compass. I'm really hungry for change in my life where I get to feel my potential again. Now, I've promised to talk a little bit about what does it actually mean to build something inspiring. And here's what alumni of the Thearc usually are doing. So number one, it's really about taking your next level in your current organization, right? I like to call this being a boss that is worth working for. So creating a niche, maybe within your current organization, where you're feeling, wow, this is where I get to create the things I want to create. You know, maybe it's not my own company and I actually need that. I maybe don't want the hassle of having to run my own bookkeeping, hire everyone and bear the risk of failure. Maybe that's not for you, but still you want to be an inspiring person and an inspiring leader. So one area is to really live and build that in the organization you're currently working for, or maybe in an organization you want to be working for in the future. The second is that thing that people find very obvious. It's setting up your own organization, building your own ecosystem. And the third one is one that often gets overlooked, and that means to start a passion project. You know, maybe you're like, well, I don't even know what that thing is, that passion is that everybody tells me I'm supposed to follow. And I want to be frank, like Thearc started as a passion project, right? We've done Thearc as a hobby for around 5 years before we said, okay, guys, now it's really time to turn this into something with a more sound organizational background, rather than just being a hobby. We have a couple of really cool articles, by the way, on our blog called Making Money with Your Life Purpose, where you find exactly the process of how we did it. Now, this is really what we're talking about when we mean to build something inspiring. And it seems so obvious, right? So what are the most common things that we tell ourselves why it's not possible? And maybe that's where you are right now. So one super big thing is that we're saying, well, I know I managed bigger things in the past, but somehow quitting my job or doing something else feels rash and somewhat scarier than anything else before, right? It might feel easy to run big events as part of our normal job, but then we're asked to do something like this on our own name. Suddenly it gets really, really scary, right? Maybe you were at the point where you're like, I don't know exactly what that thing is I'm supposed to be inspiring for. And I want to just highlight this because this is something a lot of people have, right? And it's so normal. Of course, we don't know yet because we haven't tried it yet. Yeah. And I was definitely not swimming in confidence when we founded Arc. I actually spent around 100,000 euros first to do some elite luxury MBA to feel competent enough to actually go down that path and understand, that passion that I have been having for so many years actually does have a point. It is probably not worse than anyone's other passion that was put into practice before. So, and maybe you're also at this point where you're just tired or exhausted because maybe you have had a really draining job, maybe draining colleagues. Maybe you are already at the point where you're like, wow, this is exhausting. Like, where am I getting the additional energy from to take up even one more thing? And if that's where you are, I want to just pour in a little bit of positivity, a little bit of hope by saying, look, burnout or feeling really tired does not necessarily have rest as its answer in all cases. There are times where everything we need is rest, but that's probably not why you're watching this video. And we like to say the answer to tiredness, to being exhausted, is not necessarily having more time and doing another wellness program. It's wholeheartedness. It's reconnecting to that thing that gave us energy and impact and a sense of purpose when we initially started out. And this is probably the big one. My idea simply isn't good enough yet. I know many of you are probably already quite successful and you have like these really high standards. Like maybe you're working for a tech company that has this crazy app and you're like, wow, it's so good. Like this one idea that I have, like, how is that ever going to fly? You know? And again, I want to let you know, this is how most ideas start. Most ideas start at the point of being really ugly. And that's normal. So you don't have to be really bad about your idea maybe not being at that state yet. But the point is, if we never start to get going, we obviously will never reach a point where it is actually amazing. So yeah, and this is also super common. I'm just not taking the time, right? We're hyper busy. We're just like, I just don't have time to follow my passion. And we're so used to being hyper effective or very effective. And when we are employed, for instance, and we're used to having a big structure to our days. And when we start to just sit with our own creativity and with our own intuition and ask ourselves, well, how could I get this off the ground? Suddenly, manual work and having completed this as fast as possible is not the point anymore, but making smart decisions, being creative, having the right idea, and having the courage is what matters. And you don't need time for that. You need energy. You need a push. You need courage. You need a firm persuasion that whatever crazy thing you've put on your head is actually going to work. This is a completely different thinking. So I'm not saying any of these hurdles or obstacles are invalid, but I'm saying they are really just excuses for us to not get started. And you're probably watching this one more time because there is a deep longing for you starting something. Now, does it mean we're all doomed? We don't think so. I don't think so. So doing this, like building something, whether that's your own company or putting your leadership to the next level, is nothing that is impossible. And like dumber people have done this before, right? So the problem is not that you or your idea aren't good enough. The problem also isn't that there wasn't enough time, that there's too much risk, or it's in any way too complicated, you know? To summarize, the problem usually isn't that the circumstances aren't right. The problem is something else, and it's really this. It's when our perceived reality just doesn't met our hopes and expectations the way that we're used to. And instead, this happens. There's an obstacle. We're standing in front of it. We are sitting there and we are telling ourselves a story that our situation is really complicated, right? And I think the first steps commences when we admit to ourselves that this is just really happening in that one big fat machine we have between our ears. And if you want, while I'm talking, just take down a note, a piece of paper, and write down, or put it in your phone if you like. What is the obstacle that you think you're struggling with? What is the obstacle that you think is right now so standing in your way? Or in other words, how are you standing in your own way? Because here's the thing. The question is not when this obstacle comes, right? The question is, who are you choosing to be when it's there? And I'm saying all of this because this is really what our program is about. The big fat heading we have chosen for the Accelerator, the Leadership Accelerator we're building, is peer group trumps intention. Because the law of conformity and resonance trump the law of effort and reward. It's a quote that is by Thearc.site, and we think he's so right. If you're scared of becoming an entrepreneur, hang out with entrepreneurs for a couple of weeks and you will see your skills disappear, right? Just like the easiest way to go to the gym is to actually start hanging out with sporty people and just let yourself be inspired by their vibe. And having a peer group around us that holds us accountable, that supports us, but also that challenges us, we have understood is the coolest thing we can ever have to get ourselves going. Also, I want to make a really clear distinction, and that is, let's see if you heard that. I'm outside, by the way, so in case you're hearing cars passing by, this was just one. The distinction I want to make is between challenge and support. Because oftentimes we have either or. Yeah, we have people who dearly, dearly love us, so always are putting the hand around our shoulders and saying, "Oh, poor you," but I really love you, which is great for our ego and our self-confidence. But sometimes we do really have to get going. We need a kick in the ass, right? So sometimes, for instance, we're also jealous of people, right? And I like to say these are people who really challenge and trigger the heck out of us. So yeah, these are people who really challenge us. But rarely are people who challenge us and who support us the same person, right? First big distinction. To actually have access to a peer group, and this is what we call a peer group, is to people who support and challenge us. First distinction. Second distinction is, so it's really nice to have like friends and peer groups, and maybe even people who challenge and support us. But it's maybe not the same as speaking to a professionally trained coach, simply because oftentimes they do not have the tools to ask the right questions. Or maybe they just can't be bothered. They just want to have a glass of wine or a glass of a cup of coffee with you and not just hold space for your growth, for your problems, for your challenges, and come to confined solutions. So this is the second distinction I really want to throw in here, why we have created this program to really build on exactly these problems that we see with a lot of other coaching programs out there. Now, the big one leading question is obviously, where would you be today in 3 months from now? Yeah, you had a group of equals trained as coaches, right? And just look at your obstacle that potentially you just wrote down, or that is probably very present in your head, and just think about it. Like, seriously, like, what is that one thing you would love to achieve that you maybe have been putting off? What is that one thing where you have been self-sabotaging yourself, where you're like, got started, but then never finished, right? And where could you potentially be if you had exactly that group of equals that would challenge you, support you, and at the same time be certified or trained as coaches? And this is where the Purpose Catalyst comes in. So I've been a bit mean and kind of like preparing you from different sides to how this program is running. And we have essentially created this program because we saw a lot of challenges with other online programs out there. They basically felt like a stupid online course where you have to, log on to Zoom and have one person talking forever, and that's basically it, which we know is not the best way of learning. So we've created an entirely new program, and you've probably read it on the screen, consisting of 3 major things. Number 1, it's a coaching course. So yes, you are getting certified as a coach. It's a crash course, but it's a solid one, right? So if you have more questions about that, just check out our website, what exactly it entails. You'll get the heck of it. You don't have to spend 120 hours in a classroom, but you'll get the heck of it. And most importantly, by the end of the course, you will have coached peers for a lot of hours. The second element is your mastermind. So this is not primarily a course where you have one guru-esque person who sits in front of the camera and talks to you for hours. No, we try to limit that. We think it's most of the time an offense to your intelligence. And yeah, we try to really keep it relevant. So we try to give as much time as possible to something that we call your mastermind. Now, these are fellow participants who are matched to you based on your background and your ambition, as well as a little bit on your personality that we're going to be asking a couple of questions around when you apply to the program. These are your partners in crime, exactly those peers who actually hold you accountable to your to-do list, but also to your inner child, to your well-being, to your one calling that you're actually going to find out what it is and then try to implement it in practice. Third of all, it's an impact leadership purpose course. So this whole process is accompanied by masterclasses where we guide you through a process of maybe only vaguely knowing what it is that you want to do next, to being very concise on these are the steps, this is how I've implemented this, and this is how I'm learning from it, and basically going through that self-coaching process of turning some very, very vague thing, scaringly vague thing, idea into something that's very concrete, into action. Now, let's go through the elements of this course one by one. Let's start with the mastermind groups. As I've said before, there are these small co-coaching groups where we match people for the duration of the program. Yeah, Partners in Crime is really what describes it the most. And I'm just letting you know, we've tested this program with several hundred people, and actually the masterminds were one of the best rated elements of the course. So kudos to everybody who has gone through the program before, but also, yeah, we are pretty confident about this actually working. The second one is the online coaching course. So as I said, it's not a officially recognized certification. So if you want to go for ICF or anything bigger, sure. Just if that doesn't ring a bell to you, just forget about it immediately. If you just kind of like want to learn how to coach and get the heck of it and not pay 10,000 euros for it, this is the right place, right? And it is a very solid crash course, especially given the amount of coaching hours you're going to be having gone through by the end of the class. Lunchtime workshops. So these are our lunchtime master classes, and they're interactive online workshops and coaching exercises to provide to everyone. And just one thing I want to really be clear on, this is, again, we try to limit the time of somebody speaking to you on Zoom. The way they work is it's short and concise input of around 15 to 20 minutes. And then we split up into breakout rooms. So you're also going to be meeting other people from the program where we co-coach each other. And the idea is that after 1 hour, we're actually done, right? It's not that you have to leave the room with another crazy to-do list. You're actually done. You have answers to your questions and you know what to do next. If you want to figure out the curriculum, again, just go to the website that we've kindly and knowingly purposefully linked up here. Yeah, they're also recorded. So if you feel like you want to skip one, or if you feel like you want to re-watch them, you can totally get access to that. Then we have the afternoon coachings. So these are, yeah, basically the points, and they usually happen on Thursdays, just to let you know, where we meet our mastermind group. So we take a couple of hours every week to co-coach. The co-coaching process works pretty straightforward. We ask every week, what's your objective? What are solutions to reaching it in an inspired and centered and connected way that's actually bam, and not just basically, making your to-do list longer. What is the one cool thing you have to shift about your behavior? What is, whatever uh, is a really innovative and new solution to sort of like this week's challenge? And when are you gonna do it, and how is that gonna look like concretely? And imagine just going through such a process every week. There's no way you're not basically getting closer to your objective. These are the afternoon coachings, and just to let you know, so the coachings happen within the masterminds, right? So you'll be getting coaching, but also you'll be coaching others, and that's exactly how you learn to coach and how you receive coaching in this program. One wonderful thing about this is that we've really seen masterminds being active for a very, very long time. So the first time we ran this program was years ago, and yeah, people are definitely still in touch. The program doesn't end just because it's finished, if that makes any sense to you. Yeah, it tends to be a group that is not just a group of friends, but people who actually accompany you through big decisions of your life. Yeah, outside of the Zoom meetings, we are usually connecting on Slack. So yeah, we're doing all our coordination through that. And we have also individual sessions. So if you feel you do need a breakthrough experience, you do need like some proper coaching from somebody maybe who, is even more certified and has a lot of experience, that is also possible. So the default is it's going to be me. But if you, for some reason, don't like my way of being, like, we can totally recommend you to one of our team members, and make it happen through that. This is not included in the price, but if you need it, you're so welcome to book an extra slot in the schedule. Yeah, last but not least, community building events. So when we ran this before, participants have been amazing. And I just want to let you know, the most important reason why people signed up for this were usually knowing that you're going to be in a group of pretty wonderful and intense people. This is application based, so not everybody is going to get a slot. And we really want to make sure that it's a group of people where people resonate with each other. So we've organized, together with participants, loads of informal dinners and networking events. People brought in their own contacts. Like just a lot of different ideas and community events that have been going on anyways, regardless of independently of the program. And I do feel that just added a wonderful piece of flavor, because this program is really more than just like a normal online program where you log on and you have like this course that you click through. It's really a very, very beautiful and lively community. Now, this is how the timeline goes. So step one is your hopefully successful application. Afterwards, we match you into masterminds and start the co-coaching course. And we have Wednesday masterclasses and live coachings, as well as Thursday co-coaching sessions. So what do live coachings mean? So basically, this is just like people asking questions when you're stuck in your coaching. We have a separate breakout room on Zoom where we'll handle with all of your coaching challenges. And if you want, even have live coaching demos, whatever is needed and required by the group. In the meantime, when we are not on Zoom, Masterminds co-coach, we all interact on Slack. If needed, there are these individual sessions, but also people are doing their homework. So you work on your stuff. You complete your to-do lists. You get closer to the objectives that you've set yourself. And at the end of the program, we evaluate, we celebrate, and we have one big fat round of really tuning in and looking back. What happened? What are the things you want to take on? and how do we go on from here. Now, let's just summarize, because I'm very sure that you probably want one big, fat, beautiful overview of all the amazing things that are actually included in there. So number one, it's actually a certified coaching training, right? So if that is something you wanted to experiment with anyways, great. And I'm saying this great because feel free to check on the website what the pricing is, and I'm letting you know there are different pricings. So this is why we haven't put it in the PowerPoint presentation for now. Just check it out on the website. And normal coaching certifications really cost like a lot more. So you'll find good ones starting at 5,000 to even 10,000 euros. This course is a lot more economic, right? Also includes up to 12 coaching sessions as a coachee. So if you know what that usually costs, you're at least around 2,000 something euros when you would book this on the normal open market. And then you have up to 24 coaching sessions as a coach, right? When you're coaching others from your mastermind. And usually, again, if you're booking your own coaching certification, you'd have to find people for that. It's pretty annoying. Those who have gone through coaching certifications themselves, yeah, you know that process. And here you basically, these people are at your nose tip. And also what is pretty awesome is that they've gone through the same training, which makes coaching them so much easier. There are 12 master classes, however you want to price them. And yeah, a solution to your most pressing impact problem. I really want to highlight this. When we've asked people in the past, what is the most valuable thing you took out of this program, or out of the circle program, or how it's been called before, the answer was I actually solved one of my most pressing things. And that's the one thing that is pretty invaluable. We're going to share some of the numbers that make us pretty confident that this is a really wonderful program. But yeah, this has been a massively valuable thing to most people. But one thing that is hard to talk about when you haven't experienced it, but is probably one of the most cherished elements, is just a community of high impact individuals, a community of people that you can revert to with questions, even when the program's done. We know so many people who have gone on holidays together, who have become co-founders, who have written books together. It's just insane. We have a couple of ARC babies now, so that happens too. But I feel it's a fair point to say that the communities that are built at ARC are so different to most communities. Yeah, we can meet anywhere else. They're so much more meaningful. They're more honest. They're, I think, a lot funnier and more joyful than at other places I've experienced. And yeah, they're incredibly supportive. They're incredibly real, and yeah, also at the same time, incredibly kick-ass. Now, I promised some numbers, so here we go. You can read them while I'm talking, but I want to share something before. Like, we are open about our numbers because, well, also they're pretty good, obviously, but this is not very common that coaches share their numbers. A lot of coaches will share crazily successful examples, right? Because obviously, like in probably every coaching course, you will find one guy who's completely crazy, who made $1 million, or who's become famous, or whatever, who's lost 20 pounds in 10 days. I don't know, I'm just making this up. But you always have high talent in a coaching course, even in bad coaching courses. So I'm usually much more interested as a coachee, what are the averages? Like how much, if you're in a weight loss coaching program, how many kilos have people lost on average on your program? And this data is usually not available because usually they perform pretty bad. A lot of, especially online coaches, are actually pretty bad. And we're so happy. We're, well, happy to say that ARC is luckily pretty good. And I'm saying luckily, but really I think it's because for a number of reasons that we're sharing on the next slide. But let's just go through some of the numbers. By now you've probably read them. With around 600 alumni, 80% of our participants reported that 1 year after ARC Bootcamp or working with ARC, they've actually pulled off something that they believed to be pretty impossible before the program. And I want to say that this usually happened without having to book a large number of other coaches, you know. So this is obviously another thing, that you go in a coaching program, but really everything is happening. You're booking another one and another one, and you're just spending a lot of money on coaching, while the steps you're making in reality might not as big as you had initially hoped for. That's number one. Number two is 96% of our alumni say it's the best, or one of the best programs they ever attended. So yeah, we're pretty confident that the way it's run, the people who are on it, and yeah, the content that is in there is, yeah, probably worthwhile. Yeah, so I promised some reasons why that is, or like, what is that weird secret? Have you faked all the numbers? No, we haven't. But I think some of the secrets are that we really are working with partner organizations that share our vision, right? And share our ethical integrity. We also really zealously evaluate our classes, right? One thing you're going to be annoyed and bugged with is that we'll send you evaluation forms, and we probably want to check in with you, like, what do you like, what worked for you, what didn't work for you, what did you not like? Because yeah, sure, there will be elements that you don't like. There will be elements, guess what, that don't work for you. But we really want to make sure that there are more elements that work for you than that don't. Also, yeah, we're working with really experienced facilitators. Now, this is not for the online program, but if you're meeting us offline, you will find a really, really high quality of facilitators on site. Yeah, so these are the main reasons. And then again, you've potentially read some of what's written on the screen here. If you want, just pause the video, go for it as well. I think yeah, you will find basically a lot of data on here, how we compare to other programs. And again, these are all averages. So it's not that we are just picking one star participant who says, oh yeah, but this program was really great. I think one of the things that we are most proud of is that we have a finishing rate of more than 90%. And the reason, like usually online courses, you know how you basically log on and then do like one module and then you log off again because you just can't be bothered. We really don't want this to happen with our accelerator, and we are doing a lot of things to not have this happen. And I think the fact that 90% actually end the course is a pretty good indicator. Also, one thing I really want to highlight is the number just right above it. You know how a lot of online classes have like live calls or some sort of live attendance thing, and it's usually not attended very well, right? Because yeah, it's maybe boring or it's just not as relevant to the people. And we're so happy that the way we've chosen to run it has led to attendance rates of, on average, 75%, which basically sometimes people could make it. Maybe there was a small percent of people who are like, can't be bothered, or the topic I don't care about, or I know this already. Sure, but on average, having 75%, if you are familiar with these kind of courses, you'll know that's pretty high. Yeah, the rest I'm not going to read out. Because probably you've done it by now, and I really want to just highlight these two numbers. Yeah, what's next? So if that got you excited, let us know. So you can contact us through our website. Applications are still going. The application deadline you find there. It's happening soon, so don't wait forever. And if you feel like, oh, there's another car coming. Woo! Hello, that's a loud one. I'm high up in the mountains, so some cars are louder here than others. Yeah, if that interests you, just come to our website, check it out, browse it a bit, get inspired by the content that is up there. Yeah, and just apply. If you have questions, you'll also find our contact data there. And boom, that's it for today. I thought it was going to be half an hour. I'm now 33 minutes. I hope you guys are still fine. And here's how you can stay in touch. We have a website, we have YouTube, Facebook, LinkedIn, and Instagram. So yeah, if you want to meet us there, we're so ready. And let us know if you have additional questions. Can't wait to get this started together with you. And yeah, really looking forward to see some of you soon on the Accelerator. Bye-bye.